Welcome to the Hunter Tale podcast. We're about to dive into something that's really close to my heart simply because I exist within it. And that is the American dream, right? The American dream has been sold to Americans and the world for a very long time. And the idea was if you go and you work hard enough, then you can have a big house, you can have a financial lucrative existence, you can have a family that has the picket fence, the golden gates, the golden handcuffs that everybody is fighting to get into the belly of the beast. That is the American dream. You can be nothing and you can go and be something. No matter where you came from or who you were, you can now be somebody. That was the American dream. And a lot of people were sold the American dream only to find that, oh, snap, I don't actually feel better about my existence. I feel more lost, empty, confused. And that's why we have all these midlife crisers, people that are inside of their nice Ferraris or Porsches driving away from their problems. But then they find that their problem is sitting inside of the Ferrari with them. So there's nowhere to give. 2026 has arrived and the American dream is still existing, but it exists in a new way because the new American dream is the digital nomad. No matter what background you come from, if you go overseas with your American job or your European income, well, now you can live this higher standard of living, no matter where you go. And you can be here, you can be there. You have no responsibilities. You have no dedication to your house. You have no dedication to the community. You have no dedications at all because you are a digital nomad, almost a ghost, floating in and out of societies, eating the best food, dating the best women, trying the newest things, wearing the fanciest clothes because you're a digital nomad. But very similar to the original American dream, you will one day find that it is not a dream, but a nightmare. I am a digital nomad and I am experiencing the current world dream in real time. And I'm breaking down what is happening as a traveler. So let's first just touch on a major touch point, history. Throughout time, we've always lived inside of our communities. Until you're married, you're living with your family. So there's no real time that you're alone, right? You wake up in the morning, you have your family around with you. And then eventually you leave the house and you go to work. You go to work with the same people typically that you grew up with. We all come from the same village. We go to the same schools. We do the same things. We've seen the same things. That means your identity is cemented in the culture, in the community. You are you because everybody recognizes you as that. So you play the role in which you've come to know to be your role in this movie. As of now, as a digital nomad, you are a fluid existence, bouncing from airport to airport, bus station to bus station, hostel, Airbnb, hotel. It doesn't matter. You're only there as long as you want to be there. And I had a woman say to me, as us travelers, we never see the code because very often, and this is physical and metaphysical in thought, as travelers, we tend to want to be where we're cozy. And the cold typically isn't cozy. Unless you're going snowboarding or something of that sort, you're going to avoid cold climates. You're going to be in beaches or warm Mediterranean vibes because that's what makes us feel good. But you actually learn the most about yourself when it comes to the cold, right? Cold as in boredom, cold as in troublesome, cold as in lonesome. Cold is where you are forced to deal with the devil that hides in the desert because it's just you and him. And the beauty of that is that you begin to learn a lot about yourself in connection to what you don't want. You then begin to understand what it is that you do want. But as travelers, because we're always bouncing from one place to one place to one place, well, we don't necessarily have to do the heavy lifting of self to eventually pull us out of whatever it is that we feel like our life path has put us inside of. Take that a step further. Well, now you also have this world that allows for you to exist as you see yourself in that moment, right? If I'm from New York and I've grown up in New York and people knew me as X, Y, and Z. Oh, you were the best basketball player, or you were that smart kid in college, or you were the snitch. Whatever your identity is, you can't just say I'm not that, because you have to, or you tend to align with the way that the community sees you, right? But as a traveler, I pop up in a random city in Bogota. I pop up in Bogota, a random city in Colombia. And somebody goes, "Who are you?" I could say, "Oh, I'm a cowboy who went to the stars." And yes, they're not going to believe you only because of how grand your whatever you said is, unless you have evidence to back it up. But typically, you could say I'm a doctor. People just go, "Okay, cool. You're a doctor. Great." But that level of indifference to your truth shows how indifferent they are to you. You know, your mom is going to hold you accountable for who you were because she wants to see you improve. She has invested interest in your improvement because your improvement actually is going to help her. So she cares about your development. This random person that you meet on the street in a city that you're not from, in a zip code that you don't have anything connected to, in a language that you probably barely know, they're indifferent to what you do, where you go, how you survive. It doesn't really matter because it's not connected to theirs. So that means for the first time in history, truly the first time in history, based off of our current knowledge of the world, we live a very luxurious life. To be able to be in Brazil and then within the next 8-10 hours, you're in Mexico and you're went from eating acai to avocados based locally, that's never been the case. So it's very luxury. But it also means that we have no connection to the people around us. Typically your village is your village because they're your village. You guys eat together, you grow together, you die together, you fight together, you live together. But now we are solo people who are almost just hoping that we can find another solo person bouncing around, because at least that is what's becoming the village, is a whole bunch of empty puzzle pieces. Ultimately, you got a puzzle piece sitting here in a totally new picture. But now we're making our own pictures out of these puzzle pieces. That's what we're attempting to do here as digital nomads. The odd issue when it comes to this is, yes, we are making a island of us nomads. That's why you see Bali. That's why you see Thailand. That's why you see these major hubs almost forming into its own little island community nation state of movers. But because proximity is a very important element to community, you are only as strong as the people that you are with right now. Like my best friend, my boy Eduardo, right? We tend to we'll travel together, and then he might have to go do some work in Italy. I might have to go do something in South Africa. Then we hit each other and be like, "Yo, let's link up in Brazil." But if that's my community, if that's my team, my boy, my homie, well, there's a large window of time that you are communityless, and you're trying to almost manufacture your community until eventually you let it travel away a little bit, fly off, go do something else, and maybe come back, but it's never the same. I have a saying, which is, if you are not moving forward, then we cannot go back. And that is what the digital nomad existence is struggling with, is what is true progression? What is this about? What is the point of all this? Because survival or thriving has been the identity. But it might not actually be about survival, because you won't. And it might not be about thriving in the way that we understand it. because thriving has been built off of the American dream. That's the dream. But a dream is something that you must wake up from in order to deal with the reality. And the reality of the case is the American dream originally didn't bring fulfillment. And the new American dream will not bring freedom. My laptop is almost like my lifeline. If I'm in a city that doesn't have Wi-Fi, I'm in trouble. If I'm in a room that runs out of Wi-Fi, then I'm in trouble. But this infrastructure is very fragile. And if you are beholden to an infrastructure of instability, well, that means you are as unstable as the foundation that you're connected to. Digital nomads really are not stable, and that's stable as in lifestyle, commitment, clarity, or resilience, because you don't have to be. And that's the recipe for a failure down the road. The same way in which the American dream is showing the failure that we're seeing currently, the digital nomad lifestyle will likely see a failure later. Don't know. I have an idea of what I think that might look like. A bunch of just dead people who had no real connection to anything because nothing was constantly curated. It's a lot of beachfront sandcastles. Beautiful sandcastles right in front of the ocean. That is the existence of a digital nomad. You build it up just to let the waves come, but it's all right because you'll be on a different beach one day. And you'll be doing the same thing again. So, yes, it is a fun life. It is exciting. It is novel. But so what? Novelty is only so alluring for only a period of time. And then eventually, novelty becomes emptiness. This is the Hunter Tolly podcast.